Coming up, new CNN reporting on the frustration between President Biden and New York City's Democratic Mayor Eric Adams. Really interesting story now in our politics lead. New CNN reporting about a very public fight between two of the most high-profile Democrats in the country, President Joe Biden and the Democratic Mayor of New York City, Eric Adams. The fight is about the migrant crisis and the federal response or lack thereof. And it's getting ugly. First, a little background. For months, states such as Texas have been sending migrants and asylum seekers to cities far from the U.S.-Mexican border, including New York City. These migrants have flooded shelters. They have slept on the streets. The city has set up tent cities to house them and process their requests. Now, in New York, Mayor Adams regularly complains about the lack of federal help for this crisis.
We're saying we must expedite work visas. It's just common sense. We need the national government to stand up. This is not a New York City issue. This is a national issue, and it must be resolved by the national issue. So don't critique what we've done. Don't tell us how we could have done it better. Don't sit in the bleachers and be a detached spectator on this full contact sport called asylum seekers. Get on the field and fight this battle with us.
CNN's Priscilla Alvarez and Isaac Dovere worked together to bring us this new reporting. Isaac, let me start with you. Some fiery words there. He probably speaks, I have to say, for a lot of Democratic mayors and governors who just don't want to be that aggressive when it comes to the Biden administration. But what are you hearing about this very tough criticism from Adams?
The words are really intense. And one person close to the mayor said to me, the White House has made the conscious decision that it's better politics to let New York suffer than to actually fix the problem. And I will tell you, Jake, in speaking with people, what they said that was not on the record, that was not even on background like this, much rougher, some of it, and both from the Biden side and the Adams side. Granted, much more from the Adams side, but really tough feelings about where they are, feeling like they're just completely at odds with each other.
And obviously, this isn't a fight that he necessarily wants to have. This doesn't help Eric Adams necessarily. And what does he want that he says that President Biden and the administration are not giving him?
Well, you heard it there. He wants expedited work permits. So current immigration law states what the work permit process is. Asylum seekers can work legally as they go through their immigration court hearings, but they have to wait at least 180 days to get that. So in that interim period, they need shelter, they need access to services. And we should also note, Jake, that the people that we are seeing coming now don't necessarily have ties to the U.S. like we used to see with other immigration populations. So they come here not knowing anyone or really having any sense of direction. And so that is what's causing strain on the New York City system. Now, of course, when you talk to White House officials, they're concerned about this because they're fighting with a high-profile Democrat who is publicly very critical of them. But what they're also saying is we can only do so much without Congress. We can give you the federal funds, but the rest of what you're asking for is likely going to face legal challenges, and we can't expedite the work permits without some other really important executive actions.
And Isaac, you learned about a never-before reported moment from October. Tell us about that.
Well, look, remember the relationship between Biden and Adams started in such a strong way. When Adams won the primary to be mayor of New York, Biden invited him to the White House. He sort of put him forward as this great new face of moderate, pragmatic Democrats. Very quickly that devolved, but before that, Joe Biden invited Adams at one point. They were riding together in New York in the limo, and he gave him half of his peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Then in October of last year, Adams is sitting in Ron Klain's office, White House Chief Staff's office, with Julie Chavez Rodriguez, now the Biden campaign manager, and said to the two of them and some other White House aides, there's no leadership here. And the kinds of things that he started to say in private have now bubbled up in public, but it is a really part of this breakdown from the bottom all the way up. Biden and Adams haven't talked for the better part of a year, is what we understand.
Bottom line, though, I mean, this frustration's real, and it's based on real problems. I mean, yes, Congress needs to do more, but doesn't the Biden administration, couldn't they also do more?
Well, that's the ask. And we should note, Jake, we're talking about New York City, but there's other Democratic-led cities who are dealing with this.
Denver,
Sacramento, Washington, D.C. So this is a real issue for the administration, as they also, by the way, see more numbers at the U.S.-Mexico border. This isn't going away. The White House is having to deal with it day in, day out.
Great reporting, Priscilla and Isaac. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.